Hi, Harold.
Hey, Mario.
So you like him?
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah, it seems he wants to do something.
Yeah, he was saying that the current politicians, they're career politicians. Their job is to make sure they stay in office. So once they get elected, they spend the 4 years trying to get reelected. So his job, he's been involved in the city. He's a police commissioner. He was head of
Yeah.
Department of Water and Power. He's pretty experienced, with city. So let's see. Listen, it can't get any worse.
No.
But it's just that even if you have the mayor who wants to do stuff, if the city council doesn't want to help, it doesn't, you can't get anywhere. You need everyone on the same side. So it's going to be tough.
Especially that he's not a Democrat, and I think the city council is Democratic, no?
Yeah, I mean, he became a Democrat to run for the election, but that's, a Shmai Dry he did. He registered as a Democrat now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
I
he
didn't know
changed his
that.
registration. Yeah. Yeah. But, we'll see. He's very religious. I was surprised. He's very
Yeah?
from Catholic. He has a brother who's a priest.
Oh,
Yeah.
hope he's not a child abuser, his brother.
I'll ask him. Alan, you should have come. Your daughter was there.
Yeah, I figure like this, I was running, I don't think he would have come for me. I'll vote for him. But I don't think if I would have if I was running for office, I think Rick would have stayed home too. He's smart, yeah, Yeah, I do. I just send him my regards, so.
I will, I'll tell him.
Yeah,
Rick,
okay, good.
Alan says hi.
Yeah. It's like some Gedalia, why don't fast on some Gedalia, right?
Gedalia passed for you.
Yeah, he went fast for me, right? No, he's good, man. He's good.
Yeah.
Better than anybody else, I always
It's
felt
true.
a businessman is better than a politician,
Yeah.
Harold, was it well attended?
Yeah, about 300 people.
Oh my,
Yes.
really?
Yeah.
Okay. I had Ambassador Danny Danon
Oh,
in my home.
Oh,
wonderful.
when?
It was tonight.
Really?
Really? How come he was by you?
Richie Polivoy, my mechutin, he did some event in Teaneck and he met him there. He was just here for like a day and a half, and he didn't do any kind of public event. He came out with a book, so he's here promoting his book. He was ambassador to the UN from 2015 to 2020.
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, very.
The prime minister.
Is he the guy from Miami? Is he from Miami originally? Oh,
Yes.
yeah, I know who he is. Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yes.
He's a real good guy.
Very mild mannered, very soft spoken. He's going to come back. Well, he should speak. We should set up a speech for him for the community to hear,
Yeah.
him,
Absolutely.
especially about
How
his
come-
book. He worked
How come,
daily and all that, huh?
how come Israel is such a bad PR? They have such a bad PR.
Yeah, all the PR
representation.
people are Jews, and yet Israel can't get good PR.
Right, yeah. That's it,
Harold,
yeah.
Harold,
Negative.
Yeah,
how was tonight? Great.
beautiful. Very nice. Very nice. Spoke very nicely. It was well attended. People are very excited about it. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, was it a fundraiser also?
No, he doesn't want anybody's money. He's got enough.
Really?
Yeah, you can tell he's not Jewish. He says he has enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, got to learn from that.
Yeah.
Did he talk about any polls?
No, but he mentioned what he's going to do, with the homeless. He says they raised $1.5 billion and they've only built 1,000 housing units. Each housing unit that they're building costs $800,000.
Let me ask you, David Rubin was there?
Yeah,
I'm sure, because he wants to get a piece of that $800,000.
I'm sure he does. Yeah.
And if they find homes for 30,000, another 30,000 are going to move in for the rest of the country. Of course.
He says there's rampant drug sales, and they let the drug sales go on. Half of the tents are drug dealers. It's crazy. He says what goes on there.
And they're bringing and more come whatever comes the rest of the country. They see
Yeah.
they're giving them free housing and moving into LA.
You know,
Right.
the scary part is that the tent people who build the tents, who make the tents,
Yeah.
they have a lobby, and they get the money. They get a huge amount of money for putting up the tents.
Really? That's how it happens? Wow.
That's how it happens. And that's why you don't have any homeless housing, because they're putting up all these tents.
Wow.
Okay, let's learn. It's a better idea.
Ayin Ches. Even though Markal Gerim recall. See, when Gerim convert, are they considered that they're part of Kahal Hashem or not? We paskin that Kahal Gerim Eino Korikal. And therefore, anyone who is not allowed to marry, Lo Yavo Ptsua Daka Bikal Hashem, Lo Yavo Mamzer Bikal Hashem. Gerim are not considered part of Kal Hashem, and therefore you're allowed to. A mamzer can marry a ger. Ger can marry a mamzer. A ger can marry Ptsua Daka. Because they're not considered Kal Hashem. A ger or an eved meshukra can marry a mamzeres. Now, Mitzri Sheni, B'ma Yitar. How will you ever have a third generation Mitzri to create a who are mutter if they cannot marry a Gioires or a Bas Yisrael, you'd never be able to have a Mitzri Shlishi. So the Gemara says, well, who says maybe Dilma Diovar V'Nosiv? Maybe he violated the law and he married someone against the law. The Gemara says, for the Torah to write about a Mitzri Shlishi based on De'i, maybe he'll marry De'i Loksiv Kra. The Torah doesn't write about possibilities. Frank, the Gemara Mamzer, De'i Kosri Kra. What do you mean? No, Mamzer isn't the plan. Somebody's Mizana with a Neshes Ish. It's done through an Aveira. So that's a De'i. So De'i Li Yisura Kosav. To create an Isser Mamzeres, we worry about ifs. De'i Lehetera Loi Kosav. Maybe he's going to marry Be'isser to make somebody permitted as a Mitzri Shlishi. That is not written by the Torah. Hare Mazer Grushasai. Somebody divorces his wife. She marries somebody else, and then he takes her back, which he's not allowed to do. And the children
They're fit to marry Kahuna.
the ilatera ukosfe, and it's a dvar heter because it says toeva he. She's a toeva, but not the children. And it's a de'ila hetera ukosfe, and the Torah writes it. It wrote about the ikar iser of Mazer Grushaso. It's not written because, and it says toeva he. we're medayik from Torah Evahi that the children are okay, but that was not the intent of why the Torah wrote it. It wrote it for the Isser of being Machzor Grusha, so not that the children of such a union would be mutter. Okay, Torah Rabbah. The pasuk by Mitzri says, Banim lahem yivaldu lahem dor shlishi, something like that. It says, Im nemer banim lama nemer doiros. Im nemer doiros lama nemer banim. Im nemer banim v'lo nemer doiros ha'yisrael mir ben rishon v'sheni aser. Shlishi mutter. Maybe it means that only the third child of a Mitzri is permitted, and the first two children are not. No, it's generational. Maybe to the generation standing at the foot of our Sinai, 3 generations from now, all the mitzvahs will be permitted. It needs to be 3 sets of children, 3 generations. Lahem mehemene. And you have to count from the parent is Mitzri Rishon. You don't count Rishon from the child. And lahem alecha achar psulon. If 2 gay remarried each other and they're from 2 different nations, and one is a worse psul, you start counting from the worst psul. Rashi says, "Kagon Mitzri shenosu Yisraelis, the Yisrael shenosu Mitzris, holach achreihem." Then they don't get swallowed up by a kosher dik Yisrael. The children are possible to the 3rd generation. Maybe the first generation is only counted from the child. Because you count from the parent. A pregnant mitzris that convert, maybe they're all chad. Maybe it's still only one. No, when the child is born, he's already a 2nd generation. It says by mamzer lo yavo lo b'kal Hashem. What's this? Because the bametipa psula. A ger comes from a goy, so he was the original Yitzira was from a tipa psula. Aval mamzer. Listen, the parents are both Jews. It was Eish, but it's tipa ksheira. Maybe emelo. Maybe it wouldn't. The Isra wouldn't extend forever. Because of what Gabi Mamzer Mishum Dein Roy Lava Bakal Oila. The Torah says they can never marry. Avalacha emelo, but maybe by the Mitzrim it would not be so. Tzricha. Mitzri Sheni, a male Mitzri Sheni, Shanasa Mitzri Rishona, B'no Shlishi Avoy. When they have a child, it's already the 3rd generation. Al Maksar Basar Dideshan, and we follow the father. The father was a Mitzri Sheni. Listen to this. Rav Tafin says, I have a way to wipe clean the yichus of mamzerim. Okay, mamzer nasar shivcha. A mamzer where marries a shivcha, and she doesn't convert; she remains a shivcha. So the din is the yichus doesn't follow the father, follows the mother who becomes an eved. And then shichuro, you give him his get shichur nimsa ben chorin. There's no more mamzer; he's a Jew. And from there you see, Alma basar didosha dinanle. We're following the mother here. Shani also damer kra isha viladet yeladunah. Special by a shifcha, the din is the shifcha only does not follow the father. Mostly Rav Yud. Min Yamin ger mitzri, highly chavim mitamid Rabbi Akiva. Min Yamin was a ger mitzri. He was my friend. He was one of the Talmidei Rabbi Akiva. Va'amar ani mitzri rishon. He declared, I'm a mitzri rishon. The nosasi mitzri rishona. I married a ger who's a mitzri rishona, and I'm going to have a child. Osi livni, who's a mitzri sheni, to a mitzri shniya, to another mitzri shniya. Kadeshia ben beni, my grandson would be Roy Lovabakal. Can now marry anybody in Klal Yisrael. If we follow the father, then afilu rishona nami. Then if the son is a mitzri sheni, why does he have to marry a mitzri shniya? He can marry a mitzri rishon. It follows the father. The child is also a mitzri shlishi. You have to amend the statement. And he meant to say, if I marry a mitzri rishona, the child will be a mitzri shlishi. He also Rav Dimi Rav Yochanan mitzri sheni, shenasa mitzri rishona b'na sheni. Avoy. Alma basri imei shadinan lei. Based on this, it follows the mother. Person needs to bring a chatas, and he separates a chatas who's pregnant and he gave birth. He can be miskaper with either one. If we say that the fetus is not sort of part and parcel of the mother, it's a second organism, separate and independent. Well, it's as if he was mafresh two animals for guarantee that if one got lost, he had another one. That if you're mafresh two animals for guarantee, you can offer one, the other it can go out and graze until it gets a moon. But if you're going to tell me the uber is like the lung or the heart of the mother, then havale vlad chatas. Vlad chatas lemitza also. Ishtik. So it seemed to go against what he said that he follows the mother. By the cases of mamzer mitzri, it has to do with birth. I saw a great man among the columns. It's only over there that it says Asher Yivaldu. Otherwise, we'd go after the father. You have a shiksa who's pregnant, and she converts, but no ain't sarch tefillah. The son does not require a second tefillah. We paskin that way. Now, if the Bezdin didn't know she was pregnant, it's a suffix. But if the Bezdin knew that she was pregnant, the child doesn't need another tefillah. Now, my ain't sarach tefillah. Why doesn't it need tefillah? If there's a chatzitza and you care about, and it covers the majority and you care about it, it's a chatzitza. If you don't care the fact that there's something covering it, it's not a chatzitza. But if it's completely covered and a fetus is completely covered, everybody holds it's choitzeis. Even if you're not makpid about it. Shiny uber dahaini revisa. An uber is different. That's how it grows. We don't say the uterus is a chatzitza. That's the place where it grows from. And therefore it's viewed, if the mother went into the mikveh, he went into the mikveh as well. When it comes to the goyim, the yichus follows the zachar. Halach achra zachar. That's why many places in the Tanakh, by non-Jewish kings, it mentions the son of a king follows the father's yichus. Now, Nizgairu, halachachar pogam shebishneim. Let's say you have an Ammoni who marries a Mitzri. Well, Ammoni is worse. So the child will get the worst yichus. Ba'umos halachachar azachar. When we talk about the nations before they do gerus, the yichus follows the male, Kiritanya. One of the goyim has relations with a female Knanis v'oilid ben. You can buy him as a slave. Talmud loymar, v'gam ibnei atoshavim agarim machem mehem tiknu. The slaves are supposed to come from the Knanim. Let's say it's a male Canaanite. Those that are born in your land, not who dwell in their land. The Canaanim dwelled there. And you're not allowed to hold on to Canaanim from the 7 nations as Eved Knaani. Because they follow the Canaanim. This Gairu, we said, halachachar pogam shebishneim. We look at the worst yichus. Let's say a male Mitzri marries an Amoinis. So my pogam shebishneim is, but there's no pegima by either of them, because eventually they'll be able to marry. The Mitzri and the Dor Shlish, the Amoinis, is no problem. Amoni v'lo Amonis. Ela b'Amonis shenatz a Mitzri. We're talking about a male Ammonite married a Mitzri. So Izachar Havi, if the child is a Zachar, Shad Yabasra Amoini. We make him an Amoini because that's worse than a Mitzri. In a cave of Shad Yabasra Mitzris, because an Amoinis would be good. So we always look for the worst yichus. Mishnah. Mamzerim unasinim. The Nasinim were the Givonim. The Givonim came during the time of Yoshua. They converted. They claimed that they were one of the 7 nations that ran away and are coming back, but they really weren't. And they were made the water carriers. Eventually they converted. But eventually David HaMelech banned their conversion. So a mamzer and a sin, you cannot marry them. The Isur and Isur Oilam. The prohibition is forever. Echad Schorem v'echad Nekevs, whether it's male or female. Reish Lakish mamzeres lachar asarados muteres. Reish Lakish had a shita that a female mamzeres, after 10 generations, would be mutter. We do not paskin like Reish Lakish. We paskin that a mamzer can never, is also forever. Male or female. Where did Reish Lakish get this? Yolif asiri asiri me'amoini muavi. Malahal and the Kevis mutaros. Just by the Amoinim and the Moavim, the females are permitted. Afkan the Kevis mutaros. So by the Mamzerim, eventually they're mutter too. Imalahal miyad afkan miyad. Well, an Ammoni, a Moavit, is mutter right away. Why do you have to wait 10 dollars? So Kian Xer Sheva Masir Ve'elech. The Xer Sheva only works from the 10th generation on. So it doesn't say 10 generations. There's one approach to the Xer Sheva, you learn everything. Since it says Dora Asiri, you got to bring that over as well. No. There's some say that the Xer Sheva, you learn that which you want to learn. That's what you don't want to bring over, you don't bring over. Shoalus Rabbi Yezer, Mamzeres Lachrasar Doris Mau. You know what? I can even after 3. Because somehow a female mamzer will not be kept alive. They won't live. Because Kadosh Baruch Hu doesn't want female mamzeri making more mamzeri. What do you mean? They may remain forever. I explain like this. If they're not hidden, we know that they're mamzerim, they live. But those that are hidden, from Shemayim takes them away, so they shouldn't be misariv with Klai Yisrael. The idea of a lo yediyah, it's a suffix. He's not sure. Ad plus a dore chaye. For 3 generations he'll live. Tfeilot chaye. Ahu David b'shivavusad Rabami. Somebody in the neighborhood of Rabami. Achriz alei de mamzer. He announced that this guy's a mamzer. Bachi v'ozol, he cried out of happiness. Amrlei chayim the tagilach, because we just learned that if you know who the mamzerim are, they're going to live. It's the people that we don't know who they are, they die. Armav Chana Barada. Nisinim David Gozra Aleim. David made Gzeira on the Nisinim. Shenemar. Vayikra Melech Lagivonim. Vayorm Aleim Vagivonim Lo Bnei Yisrael Ema. David called the Givonim and David said they're not Jews. My time of Gozra, why did he make Gzeira? T'chsiv. Vayira Avi made David Shalosh Shanim. Shana Achar Shana. There was a hunger for 3 years. He told Klai Yisrael, maybe you're worshiping Avodah Zarah. T'chsiv, v'avartem li ma'achirim mishlachavisim lahem v'atzar z'shemayim lo yamatar. Badku v'lo matzu. They checked and nobody worshipped Avodah Zarah. Shni Omer lahem, 2nd year, Shema every avera yeshma. Maybe you're committing znus. T'chsiv v'yamanu revivu u'malko shlahayo metzach isha zona hayalach. That one of the punishments for znus is lack of rain. But kuvlo matzu. They checked, they didn't find. In the shlishis, in the 3rd year, Amar Lahem, Shema Posket stuck up. Maybe you guys publicize that you're going to make a donation in public and you don't pay. For that reason, rain won't fall. T'chsiv, Nisiyim v'ruach v'geshem ayin ish misal b'matat sheker. A lie about a gift. But kulova matzu. Omar ein adover la tola bi. David Melch said, it's my fault. Miyad vayvakesh David es pnei Hashem. David looked for the Urim v'Tumim. Mahi. Amr Shlakish Yishal b'Urim v'Tumim. My mashma. Why do you say pnei Hashem means the Urim v'Tumim? Amr Lazar, ask you pnei pnei. Ksiva vayvakesh David es pnei Hashem. Uksiv asum v'sha'ol lo b'mishpat ha'Urim lifnei Hashem. So the pnei Hashem refers to the Urim v'Tumim. So the Urim v'Tumim told him, Vayomer Hashem, El Shaul vel Beis Adomim ala Sharhemis Avigivonim. So what does this pasuk mean? El Shaul shelo nispat kalacha. David was told that one of the reasons no rain is because a proper hesped was not given for Shaul HaMelech. Vel Beis Adomim ala Sharhemis Agivonim. Now, why is Shaul accused of killing the Givonim? Ella, mitoch shaharag novi arkonim shai masfikin lemayim umazon malav akosav kil hargan. Shaul killed out the city of Nov Irakwani because they protected David. The Givonim would provide food and drink for that city. Once he killed out the city, it's like killing out them. I don't get it. Your Klai was being punished because they didn't be maspid, Shaul. But then they're being punished because Shaul killed the Givonim. In the Amrish Lakish. My Dichsiv, Akshus Hashem Kolon V'Yort Hashem Mishpotu Polo. Hashem Mishpotu Sham Polo, where the judgment was made, that's where they did work. And you have to remember his good. And we're going to see that they're going to mention Shaul HaMelech's good deeds. This will continue tomorrow.
Shkoyach. Night.